All right, so you wanted to get up to speed on Paytm's latest earnings.
Sure,
So
yeah.
we dove into their filings
Yeah.
and press
For a
release
press release?
to pull out the interesting stuff.
Yes, always.
We've got hard numbers
Yeah.
and Paytm's own,
Their own spin on it.
yeah, their spin on how they're doing.
Uh-huh.
So
Right.
big picture first.
Yeah.
Paytm's revenue up 10% this quarter.
Wow.
Hit 1,828 crore.
Okay.
For those not up on Indian currency,
Yeah.
that's about 220 million US dollars.
Okay. Not bad.
Not bad, right? And this growth is coming from both payments and their newer financial services.
I think the diversification is really smart for Paytm.
Yeah.
It shows they're not just a payments company.
Right.
They're really positioning themselves strategically for long-term growth,
Yeah.
especially in this economy.
Exactly. Speaking of payments,
Yeah.
gross merchandise value, or GMV,
Mm-hmm.
up a healthy 13%
Okay.
to 5 lakh crore.
Wow.
That's like 600 billion US dollars.
Huge.
Flowing through their system.
Lots of
A
transactions.
lot of ching-ching.
Right. And India's festive season, definitely a factor
Right.
driving some of those numbers.
Big time.
Big time.
Absolutely. So that GMV growth
Yeah,
translates into some good margins for them.
it does.
They're making a decent profit on each of those transactions.
That's right.
And here's a clever detail I found.
Okay.
Huge surge in merchant subscriptions for their Soundbox devices.
Those little boxes you see everywhere.
They're up to 1.17 crore subscriptions.
Wow.
And to keep costs down,
Mm-hmm.
they're refurbishing and redeploying these
That's
things.
smart.
It's like a win-win.
Yeah.
More revenue and smart CapEx.
I like that focus on efficiency. That's
Yeah.
a good sign.
Yeah.
They're thinking long term.
Now let's jump to financial services.
Yeah.
This is where it gets exciting.
Okay.
Revenue here shot up 34% this quarter.
Wow. That's impressive.
That's a big jump.
Yeah. It really highlights their push beyond just payments. It seems to be working.
For sure. This growth is driven by a few things.
Uh-huh.
Their merchant loan business is doing really well.
Okay.
Second, their default loss guarantee program is getting traction,
That's interesting.
or DLG.
DLG.
And third, they've gotten better at collecting payments.
Got it.
So that all adds up.
Yep.
Now
Yeah.
let's break down that DLG for a second.
Okay.
It's key to their strategy.
Right.
They're acting as a backstop for loans,
Mm-hmm.
guaranteeing a certain percentage of losses.
Right.
But in exchange, they get a cut of the profits.
Yeah. So it's kind of like an insurance policy.
It is.
For lenders.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And get this, their DLG portfolio
Mm-hmm.
doubled this quarter.
They're going all in on this.
They are.
Hmm.
They must be confident in their risk assessment.
They must be. And
Yeah?
over 50% of their merchant loans are now going to repeat borrowers.
Oh, wow.
So that suggests they're becoming a trusted source
Yeah.
for these businesses.
Yeah, you can see that loyalty building. But wait, there's more to the financial services story.
Okay.
Paytm's not just about loans.
Right.
They've got over 5.9 lakh customers
Okay.
using their equity broking
Mm-hmm.
and insurance offerings.
So expanding beyond lending.
Exactly, into a whole suite of products.
It's like they've built this incredible ecosystem
Yeah,
where they can offer all these services to an audience that's already there.
exactly. And the penetration of these services in India is still pretty low.
That's right.
Huge potential for growth.
Absolutely huge.
Now, we got to talk about the elephant in the room.
Uh-oh.
Compliance.
Right.
Remember the issue they had last year?
With onboarding new UPI users.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a big setback.
It was. But there's good news.
Okay.
They finally got approval
Oh, wow.
to start onboarding new UPI users again.
That's a crucial win.
It is.
UPI is huge in India.
Yeah,
So this is really important for them to regain market share.
absolutely. So while they're busy with compliance at home, they're also making moves internationally,
Interesting.
expanding into the UAE,
Okay.
Saudi Arabia,
Oh.
and Singapore.
Wow, that's ambitious.
It is. They clearly want to replicate their Indian success.
Makes sense. But, expanding internationally can be tough.
Oh, for sure.
Different markets, different regulations, different competition.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if it works.
Yeah, very interesting.
It's a high-risk, high-reward kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
So to wrap up this financial overview,
Okay.
Paytm has outlined their focus going forward.
Yeah.
Compliance, of course,
Right.
merchant payment innovations, customer acquisition,
Mm-hmm.
expanding those financial services,
Okay.
and using AI to boost efficiency.
I think those focus areas seem strategically aligned
Yeah.
with addressing past challenges,
Right.
but also capitalizing on future opportunities?
It's a delicate balance,
It is.
but they seem to have a clear vision.
They do.
So there you have it. A quick look at Paytm's performance.
Sounds like they're firing on all cylinders.
Their healthy growth and a focus on compliance and global expansion.
Fascinating story.
It is. Now, what stood out to you most?
Well, they're clearly placing a big bet on financial services.
They are.
It's a natural progression for them. They
Yeah.
have the users, the platform, and the data.
Right. Makes you wonder, though, do they really have what it takes to disrupt the market?
Yeah, I mean, it is a competitive space.
With it?
And those established players,
Right.
they're not going to just give up market share easily.
It's a bit of a David and Goliath situation, wouldn't you say?
It does have that feel to it.
Yeah,
But remember, David won that one.
he did.
Paytm's advantage is their agility.
Hmm.
You know, that tech-driven approach?
Right.
And they really seem to get the Indian consumer.
That's true.
Yeah.
They're not held back by legacy systems and old ways of thinking. They
Exactly.
can move fast, innovate, and tailor their offerings.
And they have the scale.
Right.
Don't forget that.
Huge user base. Gives them a huge advantage with data and reach
It's like a built-in laboratory where they can experiment and iterate.
on a scale that traditional players can only dream of.
Right. And they're not afraid to experiment.
No, they're not.
Always pushing boundaries in the financial services space.
This whole approach reminds me of how tech giants disrupted other industries.
I see the parallels.
They came in with fresh ideas, a focus on the customer, and this drive to innovate.
Makes Paytm a really interesting case study.
It does.
They're not just copying what others have done.
Right.
They're forging their own path, adapting global ideas to the Indian market.
And that's something you, our listeners, should be watching.
Yeah.
Whether you're an investor, a tech enthusiast.
Or just interested in the future of finance.
Yeah, Paytm's story is worth following.
It's a story that's still being written.
Exactly. The ending is far from certain.
That's what makes it so interesting.
So many twists and turns.
It has the potential to reshape the financial landscape.
In India, for
Above
sure.
and beyond India.
Wow. Think about it.
If they can deliver these accessible and affordable services to the masses, their model could be replicated globally.
That's fascinating. They could become a model for financial inclusion.
It's possible. Of course, there are challenges.
Right.
Regulations, risk management competition from other startups.
It's a lot to handle.
It is.
But they've shown they can adapt.
They're resilient.
Yeah, they're in it for the long game.
Definitely not just chasing short-term profits.
So what does this all mean for our listener?
Well, I think there are a few key takeaways here.
Okay, let's hear them.
First, don't underestimate the power of innovation.
Okay.
Paytm proves there's always room for new ideas.
Even in a tough industry like finance.
Right.
What else?
Second, understand your customer.
Like Paytm does, yeah.
Their success comes from knowing the Indian consumer.
And tailoring their products to them.
Exactly.
This applies to any business,
It does.
big or small.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so that's two.
And finally, embrace agility. The world's changing fast.
It is.
Businesses need to adapt quickly.
Like Paytm.
Exactly. They're constantly pivoting, experimenting, and iterating.
And that's key to their success.
It is.
Those are some great lessons.
They are.
And they apply beyond just fintech
Absolutely.
principles for any business.
For sure.
Paytm's story really is about innovation, customer focus, and agility.
And resilience.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They've had challenges, but always seem to bounce back.
They have. They're not afraid to learn and change course when they need to.
That's so important.
Yeah, especially in a fast-paced industry like this one.
Things are always changing.
Constantly.
You got to be able to keep up.
So what does this all mean for our listener?
What can they learn from Paytm?
I think one big takeaway
Yeah.
is that disruption can happen, even in industries with big established players.
Like Paytm is showing,
Right.
it takes technology, customer focus,
Yeah.
and a willingness to shake things up.
Even a young company can make a splash.
They can.
It's inspiring. It is. Reminds us to think big
Yeah.
and go for those ambitious goals.
Don't be afraid to challenge the status quo.
Exactly. Another lesson here.
All right.
Know your customer.
Oh, that's crucial.
Paytm gets that.
They do.
Their success is built on understanding the Indian consumer.
And meeting their needs.
They saw the gaps in the market and they filled them.
And that principle applies everywhere.
It does.
Any business, big or small.
Any industry.
Customer understanding is key.
So as we wrap up this deep dive on Paytm's earnings,
Yeah.
what's the final thought?
Well, Paytm's story is a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
The future of finance is still being written.
It is, It's exciting and full of possibilities.
It is. Technology can empower people and businesses.
Absolutely.
Access to financial services can be expanded.
Reaching everyone.
Everyone.
It's a future that's transformative.
It is. Keep an eye on Paytm
Yeah.
and be open to the possibilities.
Maybe their journey will inspire your own journey.
Your own innovations.
That's a great note to end on.
It is.
So until next time, keep diving deep.